Okay, so here's the solution. But before I show it to you, and hopefully you didn't discover it, because I want you to, if you didn't solve the puzzle on your own, there's tremendous value in that. If you did, congratulations for seeing it. But if you didn't, I want you to, in advance, I want you to really prepare yourself to acknowledge the aha moment that you're about to have. So when I show you the solution, you're going to have a response that'll be probably something like, ah, that's called an aha experience. And it's a remarkably powerful experience. So I seriously really want you to capture it. Okay, be prepared for it. And when you have that, just pay attention for a moment and absorb it. Like download that. Because what it is an expansive moment. It's a moment of intellectual freedom. Literally, you're freeing yourself. In that moment, you're having a discovery. And what that translates into is you're actually re-expanding your creativity or your creative genius. An aha experience is the removal of binds from the mind binds. So you're returning to your natural state where you experience reality as a field of infinite possibilities. More on that in a moment. Okay, so if you were struggling with the puzzle, if you were unable to discover the solution, it is because of one reason and one reason only, and it is that you unconsciously self-imposed a fourth limitation. I gave you the 3 limitations, which is, you got the object is to connect all 9, but the 3 limitations were you can only use 4 lines that all need to be straight, you can't lift the marker or the pen off the page once you start, and you can't backtrace. It's all forward progress. If you struggled, it's because you self-imposed a 4th limitation that you're completely unconscious of. And let's see what it was. 1, 2, oh, here we go, snap, 3, 4. Notice the aha. Soak that in. Soak that in, because we want to have that all day. We want to have a ton of those experiences every day. That'd be so powerful if we could have a bunch of those every day. Experiences where we free ourselves from the conditioning of the past that would have our creative genius be constrained. Constrained by what? Constrained by imaginary, non-existent boundaries that might as well exist because they are forbidding us from seeing solutions, answers, opportunities, possibilities. It's that kind of conditioning that has us learn you can't just decide. You can't be all in on the things that are most important to you. Like you can't just decide that you're going to be the best salesperson in the world or even in your company. You can't decide that. You can't decide that you're going to become a professional athlete or go to the Olympics. You can't just decide that one day you'll be the CEO of a company. And you can't even just decide that you will create a humble existence that's on your terms. You can't just decide that you'll have your life on your terms, no matter what those terms are. That's the conditioning. That's what we learn. We learn to put boundaries, to create false boundaries, right? So this, by the way, this is the origin of the phrase that you've heard, the term that you've heard a million times, the cliche, think outside the box. And most people don't realize that this is actually where that comes from. And what it means is the box that doesn't exist. And I prefer to say, instead of thinking outside the box, I like to say, acknowledge that there never was one. Like, just shatter the illusion that there's a box. And this will become much more relevant to you. It's a cool illustration of how the conditioning of our past totally governs how we show up in the present and how capable we are of creating the future that we want. So let's move on to Module 2 and talk about the difference between a goal and a decision. God, it keeps doing that.